Hey YouTube, it's Jeff at Darkmoon Metals. And after a long week, I finally managed to get myself back in front of the camera. I'm kind of pinched for time, but I think I can make a short video that'll answer some questions that a couple people have asked. Ever since I've been showing off our pewter pendants, people have inquired about them, but some people have been asking questions specifically about the jump ring. Now, the jump rings that are on these pewter pendants are made out of stainless steel. And if you've ever worked with stainless steel wire, you know that it's very stiff and it's very hard to get it into the shape that you want, especially if it's a circle and it's a small diameter. I happen to be using 3/32 stainless steel welding rod, and I'm using stainless steel because I don't have to worry about it having negative effects with people as far as their skin, that sort of thing. I know that it's safe to be worn because people make stainless steel jewelry all the time. Some of the questions have been, do you have a good source for stainless steel rings? I've been looking for them, whether it be from somebody who's making jewelry or chainmail, things like that. The answer to that is no, I make them myself, and I use a jig. I can't simply take 3/32 rod, put it around a dowel, and just keep wrapping it by hand. I don't have that much hand strength, and the rings will never ever be the shape that I want. So let's cut to the chase, and I'll show you the jig that I use. Some of you out there may think that this looks familiar, and if you're like me and you're subscribed to other channels, you may have seen something like this back in January of 2015 on Gary Huston's channel. In fact, he's the one who inspired this design, and I really want to give him a shout out right now and thank him for this wonderful idea. He has been a member of the YouTube community since December of 2006. He has well over 30,000 subscribers, and if you haven't checked him out, please take advantage of his knowledge. He is very entertaining, he's fun to watch, and he has become one of my teachers and giving me a lot of good information that I can use in my shop. I am going to put a link in the description to him, and if you're interested in seeing this particular project that he made, his is slightly different. I did modify it so it'll suit my needs, but just go to his channel and do a search for ring making jig and it will pop up. Now, if you've ever tried making your own jump rings or seen demonstrations on how to make jump rings or chainmail, a lot of times they'll tell you to get a dowel, drill a hole through it, put some of your material through, and then start wrapping it around. Stainless steel is a heck of a lot stiffer and harder than craft wire or copper alloys or silver wire, things like that. For me to get this off, I'd have to come in with a small die grinder or a Dremel wheel and cut it off and then remove it from the dowel. That's just a lot of time that I don't want to spend going back and forth. I want to make a bunch of coils and then I'll do all my cutting in another operation. That's one nice thing about this jig. This jig addresses that. You don't need to put the wire through your dowel. The wire gets put into the base, so when you're done wrapping, it just pops right off. And to give you an idea of how easy this is to do, I'm just going to come in real quick, put in a piece of wire, bend it down, set up my twisting wrench, or whatever you want to call it, and all you need to do is work your way up the dowel. And as the material spools, the tool automatically rises. Like so. And when you get to the end, you're gonna hear a little pop. Tool will come off, and your coil comes off just that fast. Now, I am using short welding rods today, 3/32 stainless. I'm not using a full 36-inch rod because you can't see it off camera, but my forge is sitting right there. The arbor press is in that direction, and I don't have 36 inches of clearance to work this thing around the vise. But that'll give you an idea of what this jig is capable of. All this is a piece of bar stock, about 1/2 inch thick, and it's about 5 inches long. And I have a metal dowel coming out the top. I plug welded it from the bottom and sanded it smooth, and I drilled a hole. Now this hole, I'm using 3/32, which is roughly somewhere around 90 thousandths. I put it on the micrometer. The wire is nowhere near consistent. It's not like a precision thing, so it's anywhere between 90 and 96 thousandths. So I drilled this hole to 106 thousandths just so I have clearance in there It doesn't need to be tight, and it comes in handy because with the little extra clearance, as soon as the tool pops off the end of the coil, it slides right off. There's no binding or anything. And that's all the bottom of the jig is. This is the top tool, or the winding wrench, whatever you want to call it. Don't know if it even has a real name. This is just 1/4 inch stock. I have a piece of pipe that I drilled out to match my dowel here, so it's the same inside diameter as this is round. And then I have a pin which pushes the welding rod up against the fixture. The only thing that's critical when you're putting this together is you want to make sure that the wire clears all the way around the outside of the pipe. So in other words, this wall thickness of the pipe should match what your wire is. If you have it too thick or this piece is too high, it's going to bind. You want to have a nice fluid motion when you're reeling up your wire. Whoops, I didn't tighten you down, did I? There we go. And when you put them together, it just gives you a perfect fluid motion, and you can keep going round and round until you run out of wire. And when you hear the pop, you're done. Pretty cool. Alright guys, I did back the camera away and I moved the forge. I wound a full 36-inch rod around the mandrel. I still have a good at least 4 inches above this. You just can't see it because it's out of frame. These are the 2 half rods that I did. If you're wondering on the specs, my mandrel size or the dowel size is 11/32. That is about 343 thousandths, or if you're from Gary's neck of the woods, 8.73 millimeters. I was able to get a full usable 24 rings out of each 36-inch rod on a fairly consistent basis. So not bad for stainless steel jump rings. They may be more expensive than some of you are used to paying for, you know, a bulk pack of jump rings from you know, from like a wholesale jewelry supplier, but you're not going to find stainless steel like this on your random Fire Mountain gem site, things like that. So yeah, that's what I've been doing, and that's how I've been making my jump rings. You guys hear that? It's another question, and I know it's going to be coming. So I'm going to take the time to answer it now rather than to make another video. So if you do have the question, you're not going to have to wait. Some of you may be wondering, how the heck do you cut stainless steel coil? Especially if you work with stainless steel in the past, you know that it is very unforgiving when it comes to cutting and bending. It's just very stiff, very tough wire. Well, if you're thinking that you're going to get away with using something like this, just put this into the back of your mind. These don't even exist in your toolbox because they're not going to work. And even if you could muster the hand strength to use these little jewelry crafting pliers to cut the stainless steel wire, you will permanently damage the blade. So don't, just put these aside, pretend they're not there, and if you do try it, please don't say I didn't warn you. The only thing that I have found that is satisfactory for getting these things cut in a reasonable amount of time is the Dremel cutoff wheels. I have a variable speed Dremel that I use. This is part number 420. These are the heavy duty cutoff wheels, which are a lot better than the black ones that they had out. These are maroon. They're a lot thicker. They hold up better, and they're a lot more forgiving if you happen to like tilt the tool and you don't keep that wheel perfectly straight, because the old black ones would just kind of shatter if there was any tension or pressure on the side of the wheel. So these do a really good job. And for every one of these wheels that I burn through, I can cut roughly 2 complete welding rod worth of coil. So 2 36-inch rods, I can cut 48 rings with 1 wheel, provided I'm careful and I don't like abuse them and go too fast, that sort of thing. And I know you might be thinking that, hey, that's kind of overkill working with stainless steel and making your own jump rings when there are so many suppliers out there. I can go to Michael's or AC Moore's or any craft shop around and buy jump rings. But Dana and I work really hard on the products that we make, and we want to have a quality product for our customers. And if someone's going to give me their hard-earned money, I don't want to lay awake at night thinking that they're going to lose the pendant that they purchased from us over a 3-cent jump ring. That's just the way we are. So it may seem like overkill, but that's the way I like to run things. Before I wrap things up, I want to take one last opportunity to thank Gary Huston again. He has been a really wonderful YouTube teacher. I don't comment enough on his videos. I'm sure he's just as busy as I am. And I know a lot of other people follow him. Like I said, he's got over 30,000 subscribers, and if you haven't run into him yet, take the time. I can guarantee that you will not regret it. So until the next video, I wish you all well. This has been Jeff at Darkmoon Metals, and I will see you again soon.